Yo, what's good everybody? Today, I'm going to be giving my personal honest reviews on Update 6 in Anime Vanguards. I'm going to be talking about the pros and some of the cons of this update. This is not going to be a glaze video, but this is also not going to be a hate video. This is just going to be what I thought of this update as a whole. And yeah, if y'all do enjoy this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and join my Discord down in the description, because once I hit 4,000 subscribers, I'm going to be doing some battle pass giveaways inside my Discord server. So make sure y'all sub up, join the Discord. So let's stop the yapping and let's get into the video. All right, so in the latest update of Anime Vanguards, we got update 6, the Guilty Gear updates. And overall, I'm gonna just say it right now, I'm gonna say at the end too, this update had potential to be very, very, very good. However, some big things happened from the release of the update to hours after the updates. And it's overall, even before the update even dropped, there was just a bunch of problems that I feel like kind of did ruin this update. I'm saying ruin in quotes, like quote unquote ruin the update, but I'm gonna be talking about the pros first, and then I'm gonna get into the cons of what happened with the update and etc. So the first pro I have with this update is the units. The units are really well designed. The way that their passes work, the way that their tension bar works, the way that all their abilities really do work well together, and the fact that they're also really good for PvP, which is these are the first units in the game that actually have PvP only passive, which is again really, really sick. You can see that they really put a lot of detail into these units, and you can see that they were made really well. And I personally like all the units in this update. They're all very well made. The secrets especially are really, really sick. Elfelt and Baiken, they are really good units as well as being really sick units. All the Guilty Gear units mainly use their tension bar as their main source of their passives, their abilities, you know, outputting crazy DPS or being really good supports, what have you. And the units are really sick. Almost all of them are meta, and I'm very happy with the selection of units we got. And in terms of the anime choice itself, I'm not going to talk much about this. This might be a big negative for a lot of people. To me, when I first heard it was going to be Guilty Gear, I was like, I'm kind of disappointed. I didn't really want a Guilty Gear update. I would have liked something like One Piece or Black Clover or Reincarnated as a Slime, something like that. But it was the dev's choice, and I'm not gonna blame them for doing something different, because to be fair, every anime tower defense or just every anime game in general does these mainstream updates. So I feel like they were trying to do something different. I feel like if you're hating on the anime choice right now, a day or two after the update, then I feel like that's something like, just get over it. You know, it already happened. It's fine. There's other cons, and there's other bigger cons to the update other than the anime choice in general. But you know, I'm neutral on it. You know, I don't hate it. I'm not in love with it. I'm just okay with the anime choice. Now, the next pro I'm gonna talk about is gonna be the maps. The maps might be one of the best things in this update, if not the best. The two maps that dropped in this update, they might be some of the best Roblox maps I've ever seen in my life. They are, and this is like no glaze, genuinely I feel this way. The maps are so stunning. Like, they're beautiful maps. Even the redone ones like Shibuya with the extra graphics, all the shadows. So really good maps that got added, and really good map additions or reworks, you could say, to the already in the game maps. So the maps, beautiful, very well done. And the next thing I want to talk about is the content. We got a lot more content in this update compared to like a 0.5, obviously, because it was a 0.0, and because obviously we have to wait a lot longer for a 6.0 update. So we got a bunch of stuff. We got a new story mode, we got a new legend stage, we got new rifts, we got new PvP, and we obviously got a bunch more new units. We got a lot more quality of life features and stuff like that. And overall, that's a positive. That's more content for the player base to play with, right? Even though it took a long time, which is something else I'm going to talk about later in the video, we still got a bunch of content. And like, you can't be sad about that, you know? But the update's here. The update's finally here. We finally got the content that we've been waiting for to be playing. So I'm just glad it's here, you know? And the brand new game mode that we did get in this update is PvP, but I will be talking more about PvP later in the video. But overall, we did get more content, which is obviously a plus. So that's a pro in my book. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, which I already kind of talked about in the last thing that I just said, but PvP. This might be a hot topic, but I personally really like PvP when it works. Now, what I mean by that is, if we're talking about PvP on release, because the release of an update is the most important part of an update. If the release of an update is bad, then it's bound to just go down in player count, right? The release is the most important part of any update. After that is, you know, anything can happen after that. But the release of the update, when the hype is there, when maintenance happened, especially for 6.0, where the maintenance I think was like 14 hours, you're expecting a bugless, hopefully easy and smooth update. However, PvP did the exact opposite of that. Now, in content creator chat, the developers were saying that 99% of the reason that maintenance was taking this long was because of PvP. If PvP got fixed, then the update would drop. That's all they were basically doing. The testing did not take long if it wasn't for PvP. So I was expecting some bugs. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting bugs to occur when PvP first dropped, or when the update just first dropped, because if they had the chance, they would take like a couple days of maintenance. Like honestly, they would have, but they couldn't. They couldn't keep a game on maintenance for definitely less than 24 hours. So they were kind of forced to drop the update, and it was very disappointing when I got in a PvP match and it was just barely working. But I'm still on the pro side. I'm not gonna go into all the cons now, but the pros of PvP is the game mode is fun. The game mode is really fun. The fact that all your units, even if they're not meta right now, they have become meta because of their abilities and stuff. PvP has literally unlocked a special use for a lot of the units in this game because of their abilities, because of their passives, etc. And the way that it works is you want to, at least in my head, you want to keep farming your money, you want to build up your eco, then you want to build for a really massive push, see what their units have, see what they have that can't go against the push that you want to build, and then just go all into that. And it's fun. It's really fun, especially when you're building up your money, doing all that, trying to think of, okay, what's good in this scenario? What's good in this scenario? Oh, I shouldn't probably do this. Oh, I should do this, etc. And then you build the push, you win the game. It's a good feeling. It's a fun game mode in my opinion, especially if you're in the end game and you're tired of just doing all these story mode, legend stages, easy content, quote unquote. PvP is the game mode that is not easy. You have to use your brain. It's a tough game mode, and it's something for end game players to do, like myself. PvP is very fun for me, at least, and it's gonna be something I'm gonna keep playing because PvP is tough. And for someone like me who, you know, gets tired of just doing only legend stages, story modes, raids, you know, dungeons, stuff like this, boss rush, PvP is that new game mode that will come and get rid of my boredom in that way, right? However, right now specifically, PvP, when it works, is really, really fun. But when it doesn't work, it's not fun. So I think that's a good segue for me to go now to the cons. Those are all the pros in my opinion. Let me know in the comments what else y'all liked in the update that I probably didn't mention. These are like my top things that I personally liked about the update. I feel like the majority of the community didn't like the update at all, which depending on what your complaints were, I feel like a lot of people are complaining about the bugs, which I totally agree with. The bugs definitely were something. So the first con I'm gonna talk about is going to be the bugs. The bugs in this update were ridiculous. Now, like I said about PvP, they took 14 hours in maintenance. 90% of it was because of PvP. They knew that PvP was gonna be a buggy mess, and when it comes to development and stuff like that, I can't talk at all. I'm not a developer. I'm not a programmer. I'm not the person who, you know, made PvP and did all the internal stuff and all that. So I can't tell them to, make the game mode less buggy or anything, because I don't know what I'm talking about. But the fact that PvP took 14 hours in maintenance for it to still be dropped and have this many bugs, it's crazy. Thankfully, like a couple hours afterwards, a lot, or not a lot, but a good amount of the bugs that PvP had were eventually fixed. By the time I'm recording this is like a day after the update, a little bit more than a day after the update. It's still a little bit buggy, pretty buggy still. There's still a lot of fixes to be done. I think they will be resetting ranked once everything in PvP is fixed, which I hope is going to be the solution. But overall, the bugs in PvP were a hot mess. It was unplayable to a certain extent, to the point where banning was very buggy, to the point where if they banned my Goku, for example, then I couldn't ban their Goku, meaning that they banned one of my meta units, but I can't ban one of their meta units if it's the exact same unit, which was really annoying because you thought you banned all their meta units, right? No, they still had like 14 monarchs left over. So it was very, very bad, but I think that got fixed later on after. But still, I'm not gonna go into each specific bug because that would be like a whole long ass list. But nonetheless, there was a lot of bugs with PvP. There was other bugs that didn't revolve around PvP, which was the Elfet secret portal bug, where it didn't work when you got the portal and you spawned in. I don't think it would work, or the waves wouldn't start or end. So that was very buggy. So people lost Elfet because of that bug, which sucked. And then Baikon's quest, the other secret unit, the quest I think currently is still broken by the time I'm recording this. It's still very buggy. I don't even know how people have gotten the unit when the quest is very, very buggy, but I don't know, maybe they cheesed it or something. I don't really know. Hopefully it gets fixed though soon enough. And I think that's like literally the only con I want to talk about. Even though it's one con, bugs are the majority of how you can make or break an update. If a update comes out flawless, no bugs, no nothing, the update gets like 7 or 8 extra points, because when you drop an update after hyping it, and after doing maintenance and doing all this, you expect the player base to come in and play a fully functioning update, right? And that really gives the player base like some excitement, right? They can play the update without worrying that, oh, if I get lucky in my first game and I get the secret portal, for example, oh, it doesn't work. I just grinded for the portal, it didn't work. Now I have to grind it again, and it's just a sucky feeling. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, overall, bugs, honestly, in my opinion, definitely kind of ruined the update for not just me, but for also a lot of other people. That's gonna be the only con I'm gonna talk about. And then my overall thoughts and opinions on this update. Me personally, I don't think this update was worth a month. And you might disagree, but I think this update wasn't even worth 2 months, because 5.5 technically was an update, but it was 3 units, 1 raid, that was it. I wouldn't call it like a 0.5 update. It was something very light, and that update also took 3 weeks. So I'm basically counting it as 2 months for this update. I'm not gonna lie to you. So 2 months for this update. If you want to say 1 month, 1 month works too. I'm gonna say 2 months. 2 months for this update, I don't think was worth it. Yes, we got story modes. Yes, we got PvP. Yes, we got a legend stage. Yes, we got a new rift. But like, I don't know. I feel like this update could have been done in a month. Again, I'm not a developer, so I can't say, oh, you should have done your work faster to developers and do this or that. But it's just like the outcome of the update, the amount of content we got and all that. It just feels like this update was like a disappointment, right? Me personally, I don't think it was worth a month or 2. I still enjoy this update. Now that the bugs are getting fixed, I like the update a lot, right? Because it works. And when the update works, I feel like it's a very good update. I like the content we got. I like the units we got. I like PvP. I like Alphet. I like PvP. I like the rifts. I like everything. It's just, in my eyes, I don't feel like it was worth 2 months. You know, it's here. I can't complain about the past. I just gotta pray that in the future, hopefully updates are less buggy. I'm not saying for it to be no bugs. Updates are always gonna have bugs. Just like, I think it's impossible for you to drop an update for it to have absolutely 0 bugs. So I'm at least hoping that the next update, or at least the next couple updates, is less buggy and hopefully takes a little bit less time. But then again, those are all hopes. Those are what I want. But at the end of the day, it's the developers making the updates. They go at their own pace. So yeah, I'm in the video there. Hope y'all did enjoy the video. Hope y'all did enjoy my rants. And again, let me know down in the comments your thoughts and opinions on this update in the comment section. And yeah, that's about it. Hope y'all have a great day or night wherever you are. And I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. Peace.